Hello everyone, and welcome back to SARIA'S 11 Universe. My name is Jitch, and this is ECW.
Following contest is scheduled for one fall. Approaching the ring from Marietta, Georgia, weighing 223 pounds, Cody Rhodes.
A very peculiar match to see here on ECW, but a lot of the ECW kind of regulars, I guess, for lack of a better term, they're already all used up. So this week we're going to be seeing two people you generally see on Raw facing off one-on-one here on ECW. First of which is the recently acquired part of Raw, Cody Rhodes, who will be, of course, with Ted DiBiase and Randy Orton. Not tonight, though. Instead, he's going to go one-on-one with Kane. This is truly a match that I just don't think Cody Rhodes would have wanted, but it is what he's got. This is his welcome to Raw. He is facing off against one of the few superstars that were able to remain on the Raw brand from the draft. That is Kane, who has failed to recapture the United States Championship at WrestleMania. And just like Batista, I think he's got a lot of vengeance in mind. He's got a lot of frustrations he wants to take out. And Cody Rhodes, unfortunately, I think is just going to be the wrong guy, the wrong place, at the wrong time. Kane wants to get his hands on that US Championship. He is now out of contention for, after Justin Gabriel, probably the least likeliest guy to come out with the US Championship, was the one that did. Yeah, love that. Thank you.
When Cody Rhodes is working on all cylinders, he's just so dangerous.
This is really not a match I think Cody Rhodes was ever hoping for. You know, they've dealt with The Undertaker a little bit. Cody Rhodes experienced firsthand what fighting The Undertaker is like. Now he's got to go through Kane on Raw.
What do you think's going through the mind of Cody Rhodes as we start things off here, King?
This is the I think this is the fourth to last episode of ECW you will be seeing. Soon this show will be replaced with NXT, as I said before. Nothing truly going to change, to be honest. It's really not going to make that much of a difference. It's just ultimately going to be a different ring in the end. We're going to be focusing on the next generation here on NXT as much as we can. Obviously we'll still get matches like this that will come from time to time. It's not always going to be about that, but obviously it's just a more fitting name. ECW is literally just a show name. It doesn't actually stand for anything. It's not Extreme Championship Wrestling, it's just a show, whereas NXT is, at least, you know, we are focusing on the next top guys here on ECW. That's kind of the whole point of the show. It's why it's about the ECW Championship and rising the ranks and everything. It's why you'll see people that are less featured on this show. As I say, this is kind of a very one-off type match between Kane and Cody, simply because just so many superstars were used on Raw this week. And obviously the rosters at the moment, they've gone through a bit of shrinkage. That won't last forever, but at this point in time, that's just the way it is. At the moment, the rosters are a little bit small. There's that big rope rebound drop kick. Not something you want to be on the receiving end of. And Cody Rhodes now about to receive the worst of the worst. Choke slam from hell. I think we've just said goodnight to Cody. Yep, there you go. The mean streak of Kane has introduced itself to Cody Rhodes for the first time ever. And I think that maybe Cody will think twice before the legacy ever get on the bad side of Kane. That is Kane's 8th ever win with 6 losses to his name, whilst that is Cody Rhodes' 5th ever loss with 8 wins to his name. So quite evenly matched in terms of statistics, but when you put the two one-on-one like this, well, we've just seen exactly what happens, unfortunately, for Cody Rhodes. The future could be very bright for Kane. He's got a long way to go before he gets championship gold around his shoulder again. He's got a few ranks to rise after some of these big losses he's had in recent times. Well, we are here on our second match of the night, and here comes the Cruiserweight Champion.
Contest is scheduled for one fall. Approaching the ring, the Cruiserweight Champion of the world, Ryder.
This is going to be a very, very interesting situation for Zack Ryder this week on both ECW and SmackDown. Teddy Long, general manager of SmackDown, has stated that he doesn't particularly care for, pardon me, and that horrible sound you would have just heard, that was me accidentally kicking the headphones that hang from the microphone. Teddy Long has said that he doesn't particularly like Zack Ryder, not in the sense of that he's going to make his life a living hell. Well, okay, that's a little abrupt. But in the sense of that, he doesn't like the way Zack Ryder has handled himself since winning the Cruiserweight Championship all that time ago. So Teddy Long has stated that he is going to make Zack Ryder prove his worth on SmackDown as the Cruiserweight Champion. He is not only going to compete here tonight against RTruth in one-on-one competition, in a match in which RTruth seems pretty desperate to actually make an impact, I gotta say. Not like RTruth to come out and do a quick cheap shot on someone. That to me says a lot about RTruth's motivation right now to try and pick up a victory and get a bit of momentum against Zack Ryder. What the hell is Mark Henry doing out here? Okay, anyway, focusing forward on what's going on in the ring and what I was talking about before I got distracted by the sight of Mark Henry coming out. I don't honestly remember what I was saying now. I'm so confused. Yeah, Teddy Long has decided that he's not too impressed with Zack Ryder's actions from everything that he's been able to see. You know, to do with Zack Ryder's first championship reign, to do with the ways he tried to screw Chavo Guerrero in the last episode of ECW in the Beat the Clock Challenge, all that kind of thing. I think it was actually Chavo Guerrero that tried to screw him, so I'm not really sure what he meant, but I think he's trying to say that JTG was sicked on Chavo by Zack Ryder or something, I don't know. But the point is, Teddy Long, he doesn't really like Zack Ryder. He doesn't like his motivations. He doesn't like his behavior. And he's going to do something about it. Mark Henry is coming into the ring. What the hell is this? Oh! I don't understand. Zack Ryder just watched on as Mark Henry came down to the ring and he attacked RTruth, who seems to be getting back into the match still. But yeah, the point I'm trying to make before all this confusion kept happening around me is he doesn't really like the way that Zack Ryder has carried himself as champion since he first ever won it the first time. And so he's going to put him through a tough week to prove his worth on SmackDown, and he's hoping that Zack Ryder will prove him wrong and that he'll overcome the odds. But right now, Zack Ryder is going to be going one-on-one with RTruth here on ECW, as you've seen, and then later on, Zack Ryder, this very next day on Friday Night SmackDown, he's going to go one-on-one, not one-on-one, sorry, he's going to go into a four-way matchup for his Cruiserweight Championship, where he's going to defend against three of SmackDown's finest Cruiserweights to offer, those being, chosen by the general manager Teddy Long, Evan Bourne, John Morrison, and Rey Mysterio. So Zack Ryder's got a really tough week ahead of him, and he could really use a bit of momentum in this match against RTruth. I don't know why the hell Mark Henry decided to come out and attack RTruth. I really don't. But he's definitely handed this to Zack Ryder. Maybe this is some kind of insurance policy that Zack Ryder's hired. And the roll up. And in classic Zack Ryder fashion, it's another victory. Just like that, a roll up. I don't know what Mark Henry was thinking. I don't know why he's come out here to help Zack Ryder. Mark Henry is officially a part of the SmackDown roster. Perhaps he feels sorry for Zack Ryder. Perhaps he wants to help him. I don't know. Maybe we'll see Mark Henry again in the four-way match this Friday on SmackDown. What I do know is that Cruiserweight title is in jeopardy Zack Ryder has got a really tough match ahead of him tomorrow night on SmackDown. Rey Mysterio, John Morrison, and Evan Bourne in one big fatal 4-way match. That's tomorrow on SmackDown. But up next, we've got ourselves a 6-man battle royal to determine who will face Ezekiel Jackson for the ECW Championship next week on ECW. Jackson looking to defend for the first time on ECW since winning the championship. Okay, well, the time has come to find out who is going to be facing Ezekiel Jackson next week here on ECW.
Introducing first, from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, weighing in at 199 pounds, he is a member of the Hart Dynasty, Tyson Kidd.
Man, that last part in his announcement is just sad. Tyson Kidd, the only remaining member of the Hart Dynasty on Raw. David Hart Smith taking his leave and Natalya getting drafted to SmackDown. Tyson Kidd looks to become ECW champion if he can win this battle royal.
And his opponent, from Ghana, West Africa, weighing 221 pounds, Kofi Kingston.
He was recently traded over to SmackDown along with his partner Evan Bourne, the Altitude Alliance, looking to perhaps both have some championship gold soon on SmackDown straight away. With Kofi Kingston in this battle royal, he could end up being the man to face Ezekiel Jackson next week, as well as his partner Evan Bourne maybe winning the Cruiserweight title tomorrow night on SmackDown. But what's next? Gotta have a really deep think about what's next. Could be anything, man. Okay. Nemesis was drafted over to Raw as part of the draft. I think he was one of the first guys to go from SmackDown to Raw. He never really got to make much of an impact on the SmackDown roster, admittedly. Only got a 1-2 record, I believe. Yeah, 1 victory in his debut, beat Primo. Since then, he's lost to Dolph Ziggler in singles competition. And he competed at WrestleMania, losing in the Hardcore Championship Scramble match. Nemesis now looks to make an impact on Raw that he thinks will start with winning the ECW Championship, the stepping stone, so to stay, in your career. So to say, not so to stay. Could be the right approach to take. He could be having his eyes on the correct prize. I don't know. See if he can even overcome this match, I suppose. Just the second participant from Raw, the second participant from SmackDown. Just recently turned his back on a lot of people.
From Silsbee, Texas, weighing in at 418 pounds, the world's strongest man, Mark Henry.
Traditionally quite the fan favorite, Mark Henry is 0-6 at the moment. He never won a match on Raw. Says he blames all the people, every single one of you, for MVP. Says it was your fault that MVP left. It was your fault, your pressure, you demanding that MVP went to the very top, that he pushed himself too hard. That is why he started risking his career and he lost it all. And you damn well won't get the same thing out of Mark Henry. He blames all of you, just so you know.
Their opponent, from Blackpool, England, weighing 240 pounds,
William Regal is the final participant to come in from Raw. He managed to stay on Raw after the draft. Still a tag team partner of the Mr. Money in the Bank Jack Swagger, but there's nothing quite in a power couple like holding more than one piece of championship gold. If they can help it, I'm sure they'll hold as much as they can. William Regal says he's got a few plans up his sleeve, looking over the Raw landscape that he plans to execute in due time. No idea what he could mean. And finally, from SmackDown, the former United States Champion. Whoops, forgot to change his attire. Ignore the armband. He's not making a new Nexus, mostly because I can't modify people's attires to put that armband on anyone else. There's no new Nexus coming up, guys. Don't get your hopes up. Don't even know who would be in like a new Nexus. Let's have a quick look over SmackDown's roster. And just for fun, let's try to put 2 people with Wade Barrett and make a new Nexus. Who could he partner with that would be an interesting... I think Bourne could work. I think Evan Bourne could certainly work, but not Kofi. Maybe Ryder. Morrison, maybe. One of them two. That's the best I could think of, to be honest. No one really screams ally for Wade Barrett on SmackDown. I think it's time for him to go solo. This is an over-the-top rope battle royal. In this kind of situation, the favorite is definitely always going to be the big man. So it's Mark Henry that I think you'll really want to keep your eyes peeled on. William Regal going straight for Tyson Kidd. 2 people that both remained on Raw after the draft. One now a singles superstar though, and unfortunately that singles run is off to a pretty rough start as Tyson Kidd has been eliminated. Just for the record, because I like reading them out, that will be... Whoops, that's Vladimir Kozlov. That will be Tyson Kidd's 6th loss with 4 victories to his name. Let's hope this isn't the start of a downfall for Tyson Kidd. Everyone in this match has gotten at least 1 victory in their career except for one man, the man in all red, Mark Henry, who is determined to avenge his fallen brother MVP, a man that was pushed out when he was down on his luck. He only ever got 1 victory, and he went right back to losing straight afterwards. Mark Henry set his sights on RTruth earlier tonight. Whether he's helping Zack Ryder or just got a problem with RTruth, no one knows just yet. But he's looking to hand Nemesis his 3rd ever loss, as he's got him on the ropes. And he's also got him out. Tough break. So Nemesis won't be getting an ECW title opportunity against Ezekiel Jackson next week. Realistically, I think Tyson Kidd and Nemesis were never going to be greatly fit opponents for Ezekiel Jackson anyway. Kofi Kingston, maybe. He's got the ability to do that upset. But realistically, we're going to want someone a little bigger. A little more ready. Kofi Kingston's got that RVD vibe about him. I think he could pull it off. Whereas, I'm sorry, but I just don't think Tyson Kidd or Nemesis could have gotten the job done anyway. It's survival of the fittest in these battle royals. Down to 4 now. We've got Barrett and Regal. No, wait, sorry. We've got Regal from Raw, whilst the other 3 members are all from SmackDown. My bad. Sorry, I was thinking about the old roster. Just think a few weeks ago, a couple weeks ago even, every member in this match was on Raw. The only guy in this whole match that wasn't originally on Raw is Nemesis, actually. These were all originally Raw superstars. All 3 guys in this ring, barring Regal. Now SmackDown. Uh-oh. Kofi Kingston could be in trouble if Mark Henry would just stop clapping for himself. And there goes Kofi Kingston. For the record, because I like to say him, as I said before, Kofi Kingston is now 4-9 with that loss. That is really rough. I actually thought he was doing a lot better than that. And now it comes down to Wade Barrett, William Regal, and Mark Henry.
And there's the double team.
Excuse me.
Barrett had that well scouted.
Oh, it was very slow.
Again,
A lot of strength went into lifting Mark Henry.
an aggressive shot to the midsection.
Could we be seeing an elimination for William Regal? Will all of Raw's superstars be eliminated from this battle royal? That is a yes. William Regal, whose record now hits 2-5, really needs to focus on his tag team with Jack Swagger, if you ask me. So Mark Henry and Wade Barrett. Either this will be Mark Henry's 1st ever win or his 7th ever loss. And as for Wade Barrett, this will either be his 4th win or his 9th loss. So, a lot riding on this. As you know, the ECW Championship all about building up careers. And that's what each one of the members in this battle royal were looking to do. They were looking to get that stepping stone that brings them one step closer to a better career. Admittedly, Wade Barrett, he is a former United States champion. Mark Henry calling for timeout. Okay. But yeah, Wade Barrett, he is a former United States champion. He has been at least high up. I wouldn't say ever a top guy, but he has been higher up. He has had championship gold in his grasp before. This may be quite quick for him to be going for the ECW Championship, to be honest. He may have a bit of an unfair advantage over everybody else. But he's going for it. And that's Mark Henry's 7th loss. So it will be Wade Barrett versus Ezekiel Jackson in the main event of ECW next week for the ECW Championship. Wade Barrett has officially gone solo on SmackDown. He is far away from David Otunga and Justin Gabriel, and he has already picked up one big win, one championship opportunity. We'll see how he does against Ezekiel Jackson next week on ECW, but for now, that is it for this episode of ECW. So let's go have a look at the rankings and the news, excuse me, before we close out of this one. And we got this week's SmackDown, which should be interesting, because things have really changed on that brand. Okay, so first up, the news. Mark Henry has turned his back on the fans, and Zack, Ryder and RTruth's relationship has gotten even worse. I think I was toying with Mark Henry and RTruth as a team, which is probably why it did that. But oh well, I don't really care if they team or not. Yeah, there's no news there. RTruth over Chavo Guerrero for his loss. I don't know why he went up. Actually, he lost. No idea. Christian's been thrown really low down. That's because it's not registering him as the champion. So in actuality, we'll just add to no change week right there. No change. Cody Rhodes has dropped from rank 2 to 5 after his loss to Kane. Just put everyone up, including Kane, obviously. And the bottom ones were the same. And McIntyre has gone above DiBiase. I'm not sure what for, but he has. Okay. So, preview for SmackDown. Chavo Guerrero versus Mark Henry with John Morrison. That's not happening. Zack Ryder versus Rey Mysterio in a title match. I mean, I did already announce a 4-way cruiserweight title match that involves those two, but that's not happening. Miz and Big Show versus Swag and Regal. Well, Swag and Regal are on Raw, so we know that's not happening. And Christian versus Shawn Michaels, which does kind of make sense, but it's also not happening. So, none of that's going to be happening. Ignore it. Forget it ever happened, or it was ever in front of your face. Just neglect it. Deny it. Push it away. Block it out. Whatever you got to do. Not real. Fake news. Okay, so cool. I'll see you guys on SmackDown, where we will see a Cruiserweight Championship 4-way match, as well as naming a new contender for Christian's WWE Championship at Extreme Rules. That's right, there's not going to be any waiting on SmackDown. We're going to have a contenders match first night with a new roster right away on SmackDown. So you can look forward to that. See you guys later. Bye.